More than 8,000 life-size and lifelike warriors stand guard over China's first emperor, the man who made a nation and sought to preserve his power and glory forever. Emperor Qin's quest for immortality took him to the afterlife with his own underground empire. These treasures and the army watching over them are one of the 7 wonders of China. In 1974, Chinese farmers digging a well near the city of Xi'an in Shanxi province unearthed the first signs of one of the world's great finds. In 3 underground pits, 8,000 warrior statues stand in military formation. They are but a tiny portion of an imperial tomb complex yet to be revealed. The terracotta warriors chronicle the birth of China and guard the treasures believed to be buried nearby. They are one of China's biggest tourist attractions, drawing crowds of over 10 million people a year to the city of Xi'an. Located in the eye of a dragon that's said to snake across the country, Xi'an is one of the 4 great ancient capitals of China. The people have lived alongside the first emperor's secrets for centuries. And here, at least, he has existed forever. Emperor Qin Shi Huang became China's first emperor in 221 BC, conquering all the neighboring states. He forged China's national identity, centralizing the government and standardizing measurement, currency, and language. His empire lasted until the beginning of the 20th century. He achieved great things, but he was also a notorious tyrant. He made history with the construction of the Great Wall, forcing hundreds of thousands of laborers to the harsh northern frontier to build a giant barrier against invaders. And when it came to building his own tomb, his methods were no less brutal.
The moment he ascended the throne, he started the preparation of his tomb. Even after his death, the construction of the tomb continued. It took 37 years. At one point, there were 710,000 people working on it.
Emperor Qin suffered from a compulsive fear of death. He sent his hapless officials on foreign missions to seek remedies for eternal youth. In the end, he died from an overdose of mercury pills, which ironically, he believed would let him live forever. In his lifelong quest for immortality, he built a city-sized replica of his palace grounds, creating lifelike models of everything he wanted to bring with him to the afterlife.
中国人呢，他相信灵魂不死，所以皇帝呢，他们
The Chinese believe in the immortality of the spirit and life after death. So emperors built their graves to resemble the palace they lived in when they were alive, except smaller in scale. But usually, the tomb was just a representation of the actual palace.
Traditionally, the Chinese believe there's continuity between life and death. People can take physical things with them for their comfort in the spirit world. But Emperor Qin went much further than that, beyond anything the country had ever seen, building a tomb that covered 35 square miles, over 500 times bigger than any other tomb excavated in China.
Apart from the mausoleum per se, he built surrounding walls, an inner wall and outer wall, complete with gates. He took his entire palace to the afterlife. The underground palace is a reflection of his palace above ground.
No empire would be complete without a massive army to defend it. So to serve his kingdom in the afterlife, Emperor Qin ordered the creation of 8,000 terracotta warrior statues to ensure that even after death, he'd continue to rule with an iron grip.
The terracotta army is the eighth wonder of the world. What makes it a wonder? We can summarize it in 3 words: numerous, large, and realistic. By numerous, we mean there's a staggering number of 8,000 figures. By large, we mean each warrior and horse is life-sized. And by realistic, we mean that the figures are a realistic depiction of the actual Qin army. This is a vivid display of the Qin cavalry, of the soldiers and chariots. In art, when you reach a certain scale, it brings about a sense of wonder.
Averaging 6 feet in height and ranging from 220 to 660 pounds, each statue is lifelike and life-sized. No two are identical. Each warrior is a work of art bearing the signature of its creator.
We found 87 different names on the statues. The craftsmen who left their names behind were usually very experienced, and they would have had their own helpers and apprentices working with them on this. It was very rare to have such a huge number of people collaborating on a single artistic project in all of Chinese history.
More than 1,000 artisans were used to complete the emperor's vision.
Some sculptors have said, 1,000 people have 1,000 different faces. No 2 people look alike. Those who have seen these 8,000 terracotta warriors will notice that they all look unique. This is because the terracotta warriors were all modeled after real people. They weren't made by using a standard mold. If a mold were used, it would have given all the statues the same look. They were mainly shaped by hand.
Up close, each warrior's face has a history, a character, the spirit of the real soldier he was modeled after. It's easy to imagine them as the sons, fathers, and brothers who gave their lives to serve the king for eternity. The terracotta soldiers are a replica of the powerful Qin army that conquered 6 neighboring states to unify China. They racked up countless victories in battle, leaving behind a legacy that's lasted thousands of years. The terracotta warriors stand to attention in their original Qin battle formations, providing trained eyes with priceless insights into the emperor's military genius.
After the terracotta army was found, we got to understand more about the Qin army's composition and the kind of soldiers they had. The battle formations are linked to each other internally, but they could also function independently. So, in warfare, the formations could change according to the orders of the commander.
Before the Qin dynasty, the battles for control between neighboring kingdoms threw China into constant chaos. It was during this time of instability that some of China's greatest military manuals were written, such as Sun Wu's The Art of War. These books on military strategy are still important references today, but they are known for being mysterious and obscure. It was the discovery of the terracotta warriors that shed new light on these ancient mysteries.
The writings of the great military strategists describe in a mysterious way the different approaches and different kind of military governance operating during the feudal period of the Zhou dynasty, which ruled China from the 8th to the 5th century BC. However, the terracotta warriors visually illustrate the military arrangement and organization of the warring states period, particularly those of the Qin army. We now have actual objects that give us a better visual understanding of the lower and middle ranking officers.
While the discovery of the terracotta statues in 1974 revealed details about the Qin army that had never been seen before, there was even more to come. In 1980, archaeologists discovered two magnificent sets of bronze chariots and horses, hardly a mile from the terracotta warriors. It was the world's largest find of ancient bronze work, built entirely by hand, with over 1,720 pieces of gold and silver. These chariots were deluxe sedans from which the emperor could inspect his warriors in the afterlife. The chariots were found shattered into thousands of fragments. For the forensic teams, it was a massive challenge. Putting them back together was like taking on a giant jigsaw puzzle without having the picture on the box cover.
The horse carriages are made entirely out of bronze. Even the reins. After 2,200 years of being buried underground, the two horse chariots were seriously crushed. There were more than 3,000 pieces. It took many technicians and experts 8 years to restore them, with much difficulty.
This was an incredible find of ancient artwork, which required painstaking efforts to restore. Today, we can see glimpses of the chariot's original glory in the delicate designs and attention to detail. The reins are lifelike, made up of small parts joined together by tiny rings, so they can be twisted 360 degrees, reflecting the softness of actual leather reins. The chariots also reveal one of the sources of the Qin army's invincibility. An elaborate crossbow sits at the driver's side, an arrow cocked at the ready. The Qin crossbow had a unique trigger mechanism, unmatched until centuries later in Europe. It was deadly accurate and powerful enough to penetrate any armor within a range of 2,600 feet.
These bronze horse carriages are part of the funerary items of Qin Shi Huang's tomb. According to the archaeological research, there should still be more pits with accompanying items that have not yet been found. The mausoleum itself is a tremendous underground treasure trove. Now, we are still unable to estimate the amount of ancient artifacts hidden there.
Archaeologists are convinced that massive areas of Emperor Qin's underground kingdom are still to be discovered. The terracotta warriors and the bronze chariots are just a tantalizing taste of what remains to be seen below the surface. Emperor Qin's all-important burial chamber was built to be ready in time for his death. His right-hand man reported its completion with a few haunting words.
The project is complete. The middle and front doors are closed. All workers are trapped within.
So far, nobody has been able to find the entrance to the main tomb where the emperor's body is believed to be buried. The ancient historian Sima Qian recorded that the tomb was guarded by crossbows, booby-trapped to launch deadly arrows at intruders. The crossbows protect what's believed to be one of the world's most magnificent collections of imperial riches.
司马迁记载了当时秦始皇的下面这个地宫。
In Sima Qian's book, it was recorded that Emperor Qin's underground tomb contained rivers and seas of mercury. People at that time had the concept that all land under heaven belonged to the emperor.
It's said that the imperial tomb envisioned an entire replica of the universe. The ceiling was covered with constellations made of pearls and precious gems. On the floor, a model of China's landscape with the Great Wall snaking across it and rivers of mercury winding through the valleys. In the center, an elaborate coffin housing the emperor's corpse. All beneath a pyramid-shaped mound 180 feet tall.
它本来是个非常辉煌的一个9层台的建筑，换句话说，它是。
It used to be an extremely majestic 9-level structure. It is like a huge constructed pyramid. Foreign scholars call the tomb the Yellow Earth Pyramid. Even though it was built 2,000 years ago, you can still see its original shape. The base covers an area of 1,600 square feet.
Originally, the burial mound covering the tomb was a majestic 9-level structure, twice its current height. Today, even with the erosion of 2,000 years, it's still an imposing mark of a ruler bent on immortality. In the 1980s, a survey of the mound's soil revealed unusually large concentrations of mercury, much higher than nearby areas. Experts have taken this as a sign that the rivers of mercury decorating Emperor Qin's tomb may well exist, and that Sima Qian's grand descriptions aren't just fiction.
这个图整个就是个秦始皇陵区整个一个遗迹遗物分布的一个平面图。截至目前发现的，你像这就是兵马俑坑，1、2、3号坑。然后这是秦始皇陵这个封土，就现在这个封土对。它就是整个陵区这个发现有掏窑了，像这些和秦陵有关的这个遗迹呢，这个范围是56.25平方公里。
Somewhere around here, these men hope to unearth a 20,000-acre tomb holding the riches which accompanied the first emperor to the afterlife. The Terracotta Army is just the opening act of an extraordinary saga.
So far, we've found 600 pits in the entire tomb complex. So, there are a huge variety of relics buried along with the emperor, rich with treasures like the horse carriage and warriors. The accompanying tomb items are all life-size. The bronze carriages come with gold and silver items.
Judging from the relics that have been found so far, experts believe that the treasures within the imperial tomb itself will be even more impressive, in both quantity and quality. When the underground vaults are finally excavated, their contents could astonish the world. But so far, the emperor's cunning has kept his treasures hidden for more than 2,000 years. Modern technology has failed to breach his defenses. Over 25 years of painstaking excavation have only unearthed a tiny portion of his underground kingdom. And even when archaeologists do unlock the tomb and its secrets, they must then find ways to preserve the newly discovered bounty.
The archaeological techniques in China are some of the most advanced in the world. But the main challenge now is the preservation of the relics. The issue of preservation is the main reason why we haven't excavated the mausoleum of the emperor. Once the problem is solved, the next step is easier.
Originally, the terracotta warriors were painted in bright colors. But once they saw the light of day, after over 2,000 years of darkness, their paint dissolved within minutes of exposure. It was a warning sign that the rest of the emperor's treasures would also suffer the same fate unless archaeologists can find a way to preserve their original character. The emperor could be forgiven a smile. His goal of eternal life in the lap of extraordinary luxury may indeed have been realized, with the help of archaeologists committed to preserving Emperor Qin's tomb and its contents forever. Emperor Qin has long been immortalized in the hearts and minds of the Chinese people, and now in the flashes of their cameras. By any standards, his tomb is an extraordinary legacy. The continuing fascination with this quest for immortality has, in itself, ensured that the emperor will live forever, just as he always hoped and intended. For now, the secrets of Qin Shi Huang remain hidden in the largest unopened tomb in the world, guarded by the terracotta warriors. Until it is excavated, the myths will multiply and the mystery will thicken. But if the scientists have got it right, the stars will shine and the rivers will flow in the emperor's tomb.